Hello, everybody. This is Andy Lopez, Invisible Gardener. I'm trying to do something here because I think I just took myself here. Hi there. I wanted to share. See, I wasn't ready, so now I have to find the uh,
Uh-oh.
the share screen button and all this other stuff. But I was trying to tell Don that I don't normally. It somehow it opened up to full screen when you guys were doing this, so I'm trying to do share screen. Wait a second.
You'll find it.
Yes, sir, I'll do it. I just have to do it this way now. Let me see if it comes up.
There you
Okay.
go.
So you all can see that?
Yeah, I
Yes,
can.
normally I already have that up already. See, normally it's already up there. And I taped the whole thing, you see, right? Remember?
Yes.
Right. So I'm supposed to say something now, but I really don't remember. I have an idea though what I was supposed to say. It's like, hi everybody, this is Andy Lopez, Invisible Gardener, and today's show is called what? Do you know what the show? There it is. Do you know what the show is called, ever?
Yes, we're going from traditional, conventional soil practices into understanding what regenerative soil practices
Right.
are.
I was going to call it converting from
Yes,
conventional practice that destroy the soil to regenerative practices that are life-giving to the soil.
that's
By
correct.
the way, this is we're live now. People want to call us, so there's call. You know the call-in numbers,
I
Deborah?
do. Yes, toll free is 888-627-6008, or you can call in direct at BBS Radio at 323-744-4831, or you can join us on Zoom if you're not shy.
Zoom is the best way for us
Yeah,
to get together, I think.
I think so.
You know,
It's
and
fun.
and you don't have to see like we don't see you guys, do you? I mean, do they see you and me up
Yeah,
here?
they see both of us. Yes.
Oh, they
Hi, my
do.
name is Deborah.
I'm sorry. I'm shy. I don't want to be. I don't want to be on screen. I'm going to pull it off. Really, really. I thought you're only
So
supposed to
demure
share.
and so
I
demure.
didn't really can. So they can see us too. Because I thought they was only sharing the screen.
That's correct. We're sharing the screen.
Uh-huh.
And here
Uh-huh.
we are.
Well, anyway, that's what we're going to do today. We're going to see what I do is I converge a lot on the homeowners, right? Instead of, well, I do a little bit on farming and the whole earth and stuff like that. But my whole basic career has been telling the homeowner, because they have a piece of land, soil, right?
Yes.
What, how to do, what to do. And so this talk here has a lot to do in terms uh, of telling homeowners how to convert, because a lot of homeowners are using chemicals, right? That standard guy come and uses whatever, right? And that takes up 1/3 of the Earth's surface, and so therefore it's 1/3 of the problem, right? You know, and
Yeah.
so that's what I've been trying to do for almost like forever, is to tell people how to stop using all these chemicals and make the soil very productive, because they got trees, they got vegetables, they got all kinds of stuff growing there, and they function the same way that everything else functions, like in the farm. So it's, I mean, the bottom line is the same thing. The practices are the same thing in terms of converting a farm over, right?
But
They're,
it's a different kind of thinking though, Andy, because I was reading about it and they were saying no tillage, and we're all used to tilling the soils, right?
exactly right, right. But it's the same thing on your home, on your property. You shouldn't be tilling the soil.
Or raking your leaves up.
Right. Well, so it's no tillages. The reason for no tillages, you know what that is, right? Why?
It's
Did you
to
like?
not
Do you like the artwork so far?
disturb. I do. I do. It's really nice.
So,
But I think the reason is to not disturb the microbiology that's
uh,
underneath the soil that feeds it,
so
correct?
you said more like destroy than disturb.
Ah, okay. Well, yeah, I guess you destroy it. Yeah.
You know, because
And
that's what you do in tillages. And what's interesting too is that um, in the homeowners, a lot of places, right? Here's what they do. So just say you have a piece of property, nobody's built a house on it or nothing, right? It's got land on it, right? Do you know what they do? They basically chop off the top, take away the soil, bring in some sand, pound it down, and then they built a house on it,
Oh, okay.
right? So
I
they
just,
just
I've never
so
seen
they
it
just so
built.
they just took away the soil that's
Mhm.
been there for a long time, and that soil may or may not be alive. But nowadays, a lot of the soils it's done for. It doesn't. It's not alive, you know, so it doesn't have the microbes in it that we want.
Right,
So
right.
that's why the homeowners has even more severe problem than a farmer does, because the farmer doesn't take away the soil, right? I wish we get rid of those other two pictures that we have here. Can you see the other person, or it's just me?
I don't know who those two pictures are.
Right. So those pictures are there, right? So
Yeah, I don't know.
why are they there? Huh? Is chat no. So
Engineer, is it a guest speaker that wants to
oh,
come on?
I did that. There you go. No, it's
Okay.
not a guest speaker. Don left it on there. And this is
Okay.
even bigger. Hi. Did you like my new? Anyway, so that's what I've been doing for forever on and having to do. But now it has covered my artwork, right? I don't want my artwork covered. Does it have to be so big? Huh?
We want you to be on half of the screen and your artwork to be on the other half so we can see you talk. That
Right.
would be ideal.
Right. So I'm trying to, let me see, what should I do here? Do you know, you have any idea? No, let me see.
I don't.
Okay, I'll figure it out here because it's part of the, this is live. See, there you go. Ha, ha, ha. That's better, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, I still don't see your slides.
The slides right there. Oh, you know what happened?
I don't see them, Andy.
I know what happened. Right. So, see, I kept saying I wasn't ready. You know, because I wasn't ready.
Yes.
And but so now I have chat. Oh, okay. So, see, so I can't even. I haven't faintest idea how to get to back to this share screen thing. It's not even here. You know, because when I entered this setup here, he did something different, and next thing you know, I'm in this whole full screen thing, right? And I had clicked on share this. I have a video.
Minimize?
You know?
Can you minimize that share screen in some way, or can Dawn?
This is click on share screen. I don't even see the share screen button anywhere, man. My share screen button has disappeared, is what I'm saying.
Well, it should be on the lower left side, right?
Yeah, well, I don't see it. I don't know where it went. Where it went to. I have no idea what happened here, because somehow it seems I've lost. I lost the connection.
I'm in Northern
California. I lost my. I have no idea what happened, man.
Uh-oh.
Because I kept saying, wait, I'm not ready, and I guess he didn't really hear me, you know. Exit minimize so hit F9. Okay, I hit F9. Nothing's happening with F9. Or escape button. F9. Well, folks, here we are doing our thing. I guess you don't really need to see the video or any of that stuff. Like I said, I don't know what happened. I was just saying, wait, I'm not ready, because normally what I do is I have to, there's a certain screen, you know, to say share and all this stuff. I didn't see it. And now for some reason, I'm not even seeing it here either. It says start Zoom, but Zoom already, oh, okay, wait. So let's see, return to meeting. Okay, so I'm back to meeting, but it still doesn't give me my control F9. Control F9. Click on share screen. Control F9. I'm sorry. I don't know what's going on. I'm so. Okay, let's try this. No, that's full screen. So it's still. Oh, there. I have a share. Oh, hi, Layton. Okay, so.
Hi, Layton.
Is Layton here?
Andy's just waking up.
I'm not waking.
Went on a planet this morning. He's not back yet, so forgive us.
I am not waking up, but I'm having a problem because the guy started before I was ready. Layton, you don't have your microphone on anyway, or your camera on.
Unmute himself.
I'm trying to unmute him, but this.
No, Layton needs to unmute himself.
Oh yeah, you have to unmute yourself, Layton.
There he is. Is that it? Yeah. Hi, Layton.
Hi guys, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm having a little bit of an issue problem. Just hang in there. No, see, I wasn't ready today, and they started on me without me being ready. But now, right, and so now I have to try to get ready. And I kept telling them I'm not ready, but then they started anyway. And next thing you know, I'm over here going, okay, hang on a second. I know, and now I have a whole completely different screen and all this kind of stuff. It's like, gee whiz.
Layton, we're talking about regenerative agriculture today, or how to move from conventional to
move on. Okay, all right. So we just move on.
You know, I
I
love the
did.
word regenerative. It's basically giving more back than you take. And think of any farm, think of any ag situation where they literally take everything except
Yeah.
for the roots. And what are they giving back?
Cover
Synthetic.
crops? Do cover crops
Well,
fit
cover crops is
the
is
way
the
to?
start of it for sure. Because I mean, in nature, there's no bare spots, right?
Unless we create them.
Right, and she doesn't want bare spots. She wants to keep her soil where it is, and pull carbon from the atmosphere and pump it into
Wait,
the ground.
there are a couple of bare spots. Like the
Yeah.
very top of mountains. Sometimes you don't see nothing up there, and
Or
sometimes,
the desert.
yeah, in desert there are some sort of bare spots sometimes, and then they're pretty sure there are bare spots all over the place. Little bare spots, not very big, but even those are probably not bare in the sense that there's probably something growing on it. Something's happening there.
Well,
Right?
and that's the other thing too, is that nature's disturbances create bare spots, but they're
Yeah.
only there for a period of time. Like even look at Hawaii. It always amazes me how quickly the plants grow on the lava, right?
Remember Mount St. Helena?
Oh, geez,
Yes,
man,
yes.
right?
How fast everything came back, amazingly beautiful.
But
Yep.
what about Australia? The whole country burned, didn't it? Practically.
Yeah,
I don't know
yeah,
how
and
it's coming back.
Well,
Um,
fire is a normal cycle. Fire and cold fires are normal cycles of
And
the
it
way.
does regenerate the
Well,
land.
that's the way nature recycles. One of the things I was going to do today when I did I worked very hard getting a video up for you guys. Remember all the slides I sent you?
You don't have them now? I wish I
Well,
could put them up for you. I can.
I don't know how to. I can't do this whole screen change, so I have no idea how to access it. Okay, I'm moving on.
Who is that?
So I have a follower. I have followers who just tell, all right, start talking, do it. You guys are doing fine. I mean, what I was going to do is just basically talk about helping the homeowner, because the homeowner is like 1/3 of the surface here of the problem here. In terms of there's homeowners and farmers. The farmers in terms of what they do, how they destroy bad farming methods to what the damage they've done, but also too what we've done for homeowners. I was telling Deborah how most people, when they buy a property, if nothing's grown there, they chop off the top, throw the soil away, bring some sand, pound it down, then build your house, and then bring some soil back. And the soil that they took away could have been there for a long time, having its own little thing going on there, and the little microbes just now got moved off, and there's no soil is coming back without anything in it. It's just like some kind of barren stuff, like amendment, nothing there to grow. And that's the thing that people have to deal with. And on top of that, what do, right? Overwater, chemical fertilization. They don't do, right. And so I was trying to explain to one of the things I wanted to do is to show how in Mother Nature, everything, minerals get recycled. And it's called remineralization. You know what that is, Deborah, right?
I believe so, because we have to sort of.
How about latent?
Absolutely. It actually means mobilization too.
Yeah.
When it remineralizes, now it becomes available again. So yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So and Mother Nature is really, really very good at getting minerals all around the world to whatever. Because for a long time we went around. How do you think Mother Nature's just got minerals? She has an amazing recycling system. And one of the things that people don't understand is about Ice Age. One of the reasons why we have an Ice Age is Mother Nature takes the glacier and grinds the rocks to a dust. And then when it recedes, you have all this fine dust that remineralizes the planet for a long, long time. See, right? Hey?
Yeah, yep. It's like clay platelets. Clay platelets come from glaciers. And that's why they're where the glacier dumps minerals or water, nutrient water into the ocean, you'll often get a diatom plume. Which you can see on the satellite, which is, really interesting to think. And then these diatoms then go through their life cycle. They take that nutrient out of the glacier water, they populate, they grow up. And as the nutrients dry up or the glacier stops melting and starts freezing, they all die off. And then they leave a whole another nutrient pool for another life form down in the oceans. And it just goes on and on and on, like you said. And until we came around, it worked great.
and it spreads out around the earth so that minerals, magnesium, iron. And what I was thinking today was really bad. we have stopped that cycle of spreading the minerals around. Because I like to tell people, do you remember when there were like trillions and trillions of animals running around the earth? Remember? And how they would just do their poop all over the place, and the birds and everything would just spread everything all over the place, right? That was, try to look at now. We're lucky if we have 1/100th of the amount of animals left to really spread the minerals around and stuff like that. Because that's how for example, in California, the northern part of California, Oregon, all that stuff. I mean, animals didn't follow the states. They would roam all over the place. Like the bison will go over across the United States back and forth. They would be eating stuff and pooping, dying all over the place, and the minerals would be going, you know what I mean? So, and then the birds will fly from one part of the world to another part of the world. So the minerals, and then on top of that, whenever you have a volcano, so a volcano will go up and throw the stuff and go all over the world, right? Minerals will go all over. So Mother Nature is really, but what man is good at is spreading toxins all over the world.
Right.
So we got that down pat.
Yeah,
right?
we do.
We got that down pat. So what I wanted to do today, I always have a minor goal, not a major. By the way, Deborah, who is this person?
Leighton Morrison, and he's actually going to be our guest next week. So the full hour will be about Leighton, what he does, how he does it, his company, everything.
So
what's your company, Leighton? Kingdom?
What?
Kingdom Aquaponics.
That's right.
Kingdom Aquaponics. Cool.
You want to say something about that right now? So that people
Yeah, I mean, I have a website, kingdomaquaponicsllc.com. The reason I named the company Kingdom Aquaponics is because I'm using aquaponics or aquaculture wastewater to provide the entire balance of microbial kingdoms. So
what does that mean?
Well, the kingdoms of life. So we have the bacterial kingdom, we have the fungi kingdom, we have these protozoa kingdoms.
We have the animal kingdom
and the plant kingdom and the animal kingdom. So they're all the basic lives that have been defined through lumping things that are similar together. And so, in my goal or mission to, help support soil health and taking dirt and turning it back into soil, I decided that would be an appropriate name for the company, was to provide kingdoms. So the Kingdom Aquaponic.
That's excellent. Yeah, it's an excellent explanation.
Yeah. So if it's a pun, it's a play on words. It's fun. But once you start thinking about the kingdoms of life, then it's easy to remember.
Right. Well, I make my own kefir. I'm trying to get Andy to make his own kefir at home. So
oh, nice.
Microbiome. It regenerates your microbiome in your body, and it's kind of like that. What we do with oil. Yeah,
and let's face it. I mean, our microbiome has been devastated with just the water we drink. I mean, come on. It's an antimicrobial water. Right?
Absolutely.
And then if you buy it, now you're contributing to a carbon footprint, manufacturing, transportation, so yeah, we've got some big issues to, facing in the future.
Not only that, but the sugar we eat is not real sugar. It's not the same sugar. The wheat we eat is not the same wheat. The food we eat is basically not the same. So we're destroying our stomach. I tell people a long time ago, we decided to pack up, get some soil, pack it up into a bag and be able to move around. That was us. That was our stomach. So basically we evolved. That's my look on how we evolved. Because we were stuck to the ground and one day say, hey, let's do a little moving. So we grabbed some soil, put it together into a stomach and decided to move out, right? But that doesn't mean we're separated, because the organisms in our stomach are almost identical. There are many things that are identical in our bodies to the soil and to other things too. It's really interesting because you know what fractal is, right? Remember we talked about fractal?
Yes.
Well, it's interesting because our bodies mimic our stomachs. The microbes in our stomachs are almost identical to the microbes in the soil, except that they evolved to be the microbes in our stomach.
Yeah, it starts in your mouth and goes all through your body, the microbiome.
So those little guys in our stomach do the same job that the microbes in the soil do. What is that? To break down food and give it to us in a form that we can handle it. Am I right, Leighton?
Oh, you're spot on. My cousin married a chief of staff for a hospital in Vermont, in Burlington. And when he found out what I was doing, he was really interested and said, "So do you have protozoa?" And I'm like, "Well, of course, Wayne. I mean, that's one of the keys to what I'm doing is growing biological compost out of plants." And so he goes, "Do you know what a fecal transplant is?" And I said, "No, I don't." And he's like, "Well, that's when we take poop from one person and put it into another
Yeah,
because their stomach no longer digests anymore."
right.
And he goes, "That's the key, is the protozoa and the bacteria to break things down." And so I said, "Well, listen, I have a shop and I can build a clean room and actually make you medical grade plant-based compost for your patients if you want." He got so excited, went back to the board, guns firing, and guess what? They shut him down because they couldn't figure out how to monetize it.
Oh.
Yeah, we could have fixed all of these cancer patients and all these people who are now paying for surgeries, potentially getting staph infections, spending a tremendous amount of money healing and going through these surgery procedures, when all you could literally do is take a compost, put it in a pill, swallow it for your upper system, and then do a compost enema for your lower and colon, and now you've literally inoculated your entire system without any adverse effects. But nope, they can't figure out how to sell it. Can't figure out how to charge a lot for it.
My experience started early on in my childhood, because when I used to go to I'm from New York City, and they would send me to Puerto Rico or Cuba during the summertime, because it's a long story, but I would get in fights. But anyway, I remember my great grandparents, when I go to the garden, and I think I may have told you, I would pick vegetables from the garden and I would eat it, and I would wash it before I eat it. I said, I would wash it, right? But my grandma says, don't wash it, put it back in the ground, eat it with the soil.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
best for you.
And that's what we did. We played in the dirt. Remember, Andy? You played in the mud. That we loved the mud, right? We loved the swamp.
Yeah.
We'd end up eating the dirt, but I mean, it was just part of the process.
I never call it dirt, because dirt.
Yeah,
is
you're right. Soil.
Dirt is what you sweep out your door. But other people like dirt because it does explain to them. It's very common. It's a word that they can understand. When you say dirt, you really mean soil. They know that, right?
Yep, absolutely.
And I'm leaning more and more to be able to tell people in a way that they can understand what it is, rather than be too out there about it. You know what I mean, right?
You're spot on.
So what I want to do is something that I've been doing, the same thing that you do, is basically reach and bring those people's properties back to life. That's why I say back to life. That's misleading too, because when you really have different types of microbes in there, right? When the good guys and the bad guys don't live in the same place. That's what I tell people, that they find that. You know what that means, right, Deborah?
Well, just like in your body, you can have bad microbes.
Yeah, exactly right.
You need the good stuff too.
Exactly, and that's the way it works. Right, and that's the way it works in nature, in the soil. The good guys are there, no problem. If the good guys leave, guess who's going to be there? Right. Yeah. Usually, if you kill off the good guys, who comes back first? The bad guys.
Yeah. And you have to feed those good guys too.
And there's no really thing as bad guys or good guys, but we understand what we mean by that, right? Right.
Very well, but we understand it.
We want microbes that their job is to break down the minerals, because that's what they do. They break down the minerals, and then they form a nutrient that they then pass on to a different type of microbe or a different type of organism that attaches itself to the root hair of the tree. They have evolved over these years to pass along these nutrients to the trees. And the whole system is based upon that. Right, Leighton?
Yep, you're spot on. I mean, that's, it's bacteria break the minerals down. The protozoa come along and eat the bacteria and poop out the nutrients plant available. And I think one thing that perhaps should be touched on is that the plant's stomach is on the outside of its roots, called the rhizosphere, where our stomach is on the inside.
That's right.
And so if you start putting poisons, synthetic fertilizers on your soil, you are killing the rhizosphere, the very stomach of the plant. So how is the plant going to eat now? And now the plant's going to be sick.
So what happened was, when we first decided to move, we had our stomach outside. That didn't work very well. Okay, so we said, okay, let's put it inside, and then it'll work a little better. You think we figured it out right away? No, we had the stomach outside with. No, everything, right? Right?
Spot on, buddy.
Right?
Spot on.
Right. So that's how evolution works. You try something that didn't work. That didn't. Oh, that works, right? That's how it works. And so that's what I've been trying to do basically forever with people's property, because they're having a rough time now, and they water more. Of course, the water is pure junk, right? It's got fluoride, bromide, whatever else is in there to kill the natural bacteria, right? You know what I mean? And then we have fertilizers, they just destroy the organisms in the soil. And what do you have left? All these. You have funguses, you have weeds. Weeds only grow in mineral deficient soil. And actually they tell you what deficiency is in the soil by the weeds that grow, because that's their job. And when they die, they go, like for example, certain weeds, they're iron, they bring up iron. What they do is have roots that go down to get the iron. And then when they die, they drop off the iron upstairs, so to speak, right? But then you can.
Dandelions do that?
Dandelions, right. Dandelions. So, if a plant's rich in some, whatever minerals, basically telling you that soil is deficient in that mineral, because that plant's supposed to give it back to the soil, right? See what I mean?
Yeah.
And it all has to do with minerals. Everything that we do, us, you, me, all living things, what do we need? Why are we eating for?
Minerals and vitamins.
Right, minerals and vitamins. And so it all comes down to minerals. And so I've learned over the years that when people are calling me up, I have my citrus has this disease. I want you just to deal with the citrus. Well, the citrus is growing in the soil. If that soil is dead, by dead, I mean, there's nothing in there that's living. Actually, it's hard clay, right? And the roots are barely working alive in there. They're not going to get any. The food that you give them in the form of fertilizers is not food. So yeah, they're going to be doing it very bad, as opposed to doing something to the soil. And that soil has been doing that for a long time, right? Like ages and ages been sitting there. And you can't go there in one day or 1 month and say, right? Sippity do it, and what do you got, right? It doesn't work. You have to give it time, right, for it to start to work back together again. It's very strange. And the homeowners, that's the dog that likes me. He recognizes my voice, right?
That's Poe.
He recognizes my voice.
Here, buddy. Come here. You want to see Andy? Come here. Come on. Is Scout here? Come on.
Hey, buddy, what's happening? I'm over here.
Say hi. Say hi.
Hey, how you doing? How you doing?
Who's that? Is that Andy?
Yeah, yes. Did you see his eyes? Did you see his eyes?
Cute.
Oh, he loved Andy. I mean, he came over here and he was all over him. And he's normally like, he likes people. He's not like a anti-people, but he loved Andy. I mean, he was like literally all over him, wouldn't leave him alone, and wanted to play stick. He just it was so cute. So cute.
I think animals gravitate towards Andy. I think
definitely.
I think Tippy would like me too.
Tippy would love you. Yeah,
I haven't really met him either in person. He's a star. Lathan, Deborah here has a dog too. His name is Tippy.
Oh, nice.
He's a star. He's a chef. He does. What else does he do?
He's a chef. He has his the place he's called our home here is called Mystic Dog Lodge, and so because he thinks he's a mystic dog. He acts like a polar bear sometimes, and he's just very wise. He's very sagacious for a dog.
Yeah, he makes these great cookies, right? Or they muffins?
He makes cookies. He makes bone broth. He makes his sourdough bread. Yes, he's quite the chef here at Mystic Dog Lodge.
Nice.
So my idea today was, I had this idea. I'm always trying to make my show better. And by the way, you're not only coming next week, but you're going to be, I'm supposed to surprise you and tell you I'd like you to be a guest co-host. I have this idea about guest co-host.
It's a great idea, Layton. Yeah.
What I want to do is have people like yourself, Layton, take over a show once a month, right? For that show. And then just, you're the host, but I'm here, but you're the host. And whatever people you want to talk about, whatever you want to do, there's a way that you can share your screen, right? There's a way that I can set it up so you can share your screen. Because right now what's happening is that BBS guy he's the guy who really sets it up, and they're both on his thing. But he can pass it on to me, and I can pass it on to wherever I want to share the screen. So you can like right now, why are we looking at you, Deborah? Does this have a control to go back and forth?
I don't know. And yet,
maybe
I
it's
can see everybody at the top, and you're the main person I'm seeing. I think whoever's talking is the.
because I was talking and oh yeah, I can't see myself, can I? But I see you.
Well,
Hey,
when
Lathan,
Lake's
say
talking,
something.
I see
See
Lake.
what happens.
Yeah, when I speak.
Oh, there you go.
lights up.
Every time he talks, it
So what I'm trying to do is to express to people that, because I tell people I heal the earth one tree at a time, right? But it also really means like one property at a time, right? Because basically a property is, if every person does something. So my goal is to get everybody who owns land, has a little piece of land, whatever to whatever extent they have. I have nothing right now, but sometimes you may have a yard, whatever it is. It's never too small to turn that into a regenerative property. And if you make the neighborhood do that, everybody in your neighborhood. When I was in the ninth grade, I had like 30 customers in a cul-de-sac. So first there was one guy, then two guys, and everybody in that little cul-de-sac was all organic, right? Nobody was doing anything, and then do the block, and then you do the city, everybody in the city, then eventually the country, and then everybody on earth would do it. So that would be important. To me, that's important. To me, that's important in the sense that this is all going to take time, and we don't have that much time. But it does make a difference how it happens, because right now the oxygen and the O2 and the heat. Because you haven't heard my shows too much, but I explain to people a lot. I'm trying to help them to understand that the ice age and the climate heating is a natural cycle. There's a big difference in this one that's going on. The last ice age was called the Little Ice Age, and the last heating period is called the medieval warming periods. That kind of gives you an idea. It was during the medieval times, right? That's about 14th century, something like that. And it lasted 500 years, and it was followed by the Little Ice Age for another 500 years. So you think of, Washington crosses the Delaware, has this big painting. You see it has icebergs, right? So that was towards the end of that Little Ice Age period. When Napoleon was having a rough time with a bad winter, well, that was the caused by the Little Ice Age. And when England had this battle and it was so cold that they couldn't shoot at each other or anything, that was a major. That was only because in Europe they cut down the majority of forests, or except for the Black Forest in Germany. The rest of it they all cut down because they did their housing, the cities things, right? That was just a minor thing. Maybe across the world, some of it was being done, but in Europe, and that cost that little bit. So right now, that took him several hundred years at least to get to that point. We have done it in about 50, maybe even less, and we have increased the temperature even more, more than before. So the temperature is going to go up really, really fast because we cut down. We have really destroyed the forest, right? Look at the forest, right? That's going on around the world right now. 1,000 acres per day of the forest is being cut down, right? And I tell people, what do forests do? Taking CO2, give off oxygen. So we're managing to do the exact wrong thing. And at the same time, because in the past I used to tell people, you're sitting on a tree, and you're cutting the branch you're sitting on. Well, now I'm telling people, you're cutting the tree. Stop it, right? You're cutting the tree.
I shade you.
Yeah, you're not taking yourself down. You're taking everybody with you.
And that's a sad thing, because it's okay if we take us humans down. Leave the birds and the other animals alone, okay, right?
Right.
But what's the challenge about how to get homeowners to grasp this idea? Because I think one of the challenges is it just takes so much time to accomplish, to transition, right, Andy? Is that like some of the reasons?
No, the real problem is advertising. They watch TV and they go, oh, right?
We don't have short attention span, so we want things quickly.
Right, and we want to look like the golf course. We want that green lawn to compare. We look better than our neighbors.
Look, it's unfortunate, but we're being controlled, not just in our home, but in the food we eat, our lifestyle. The powers that be really want us controlled of the wheat you're eating is made in such a way that it's a drug, so you come back. The sugar you're taking, it's really a drug that you're addicted, so you come back. They used to have, you know, the regular sugar that was GMO sugar. It was like really bad sugar, you know, but then they say, well, how can we make it sweeter, right? How can we make this sweeter? Because we really got to need to. So they made this new GMO sugar. They were going to call it, if you eat this, you will die sugar. So they say, well, let's call it something natural.
Sweet and low.
let's call it something natural so that it, you know, so there's a natural name for it. I'm not going to help them along. And people think, well, that's natural. That stuff is toxic to your body. And all that does is that it generates more business for the doctors. The doctors will say, what the heck are you eating, right? What are you doing? No, they say, here, take this and make sure you stop in the office twice a month, right?
You know, Andy, I use Eichhorn flour in my sourdough starter.
Eichhorn?
Yeah, because it's a
What's
flour.
Eichhorn?
It's a type of flour that has not been manipulated, like the modern wheat we have these days. So,
and you don't get it in the local store. You order it
no,
online.
I have to order it online.
What,
Yeah.
from some other country, right?
No, from the United States. There's areas that still grow it, I guess, and it's organic.
Did you ever see? There's a movie called "What's Up with Wheat." You really should see that.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to see it.
I don't want to see it either.
It's freaky because, you know, wheat is not the same wheat we've been eating.
No, not at all.
For thousands of years. You know, I mean, it's not the same thing at all.
That's why people are having so much stomach issues.
I have there was a scientist. I think you call him. I don't know what you call him, but basically he was studying the food, the main food sources of the world, right? What people eat, rice and corn, stuff like that, right? They say, well, he was saying the nutritional level of all that food has dropped almost nothing. The nutritional level of what we're eating as the main source of food has dropped to nothing. And he came to a conclusion that has something to do with the carbon monoxide in the air. He says, you know, at the same time, there's more that the Industrial Revolution came along, started producing more carbon monoxide. The nutritional value of food went down. There has to be a connection. And you know what I told him?
The soil.
Yeah.
The connection is, that's when they started industry, they started doing manufacturing, but what they really started was they developed chemical fertilizers. Bingo. And
started applying them on mass scale.
And yeah, they started here and there. Next, you know, we shipped it to everywhere in the world. See what I'm saying? Right? In Africa, here, take this fertilizer, right? That's what started. And I told him, yeah, carbon dioxide, yeah, but no, carbon dioxide is not the bad. Plants take in carbon dioxide. Yeah. So if we weren't destroying the soil at the time, and we weren't cutting down the forest were going, oh yeah, give it to me. They would suck in that carbon dioxide, but we're destroying them at the same time, right? And then, right? So it's not the carbon that's bad, it's the chemical fertilizer that's destroying the ability of the soil to feed the plants, which then turns killing the plants, which then they can't eat that much carbon. And then the farming practices, the reason why they do no tills, because it's called soil. This is a tough word for me. You'll know it. It's when carbon dioxide ends up in the soil, and it's called carbon sequestration.
Sequestering.
I knew you got it. See, right? It's a tongue twister for me. And so I was telling people that people seem to think that it's the cars and the ships that are causing the carbon dioxide problem, or the industry. They don't realize that it's the farming mispractices of volatility. See, the earth has the soil takes in carbon dioxide. The ocean takes in carbon dioxide. So the earth has a system set up of taking in carbon dioxide and giving back what we want, like the trees, taking carbon dioxide, give off oxygen. The oceans and the soil takes in carbon dioxide. The microbes take in the carbon, because the carbon dioxide gets turned into a form of carbon that the microbes use. They turn into carbon monoxide, which is a gas. Carbonic acid, which is a gas, which then they use to break down the minerals, right? So they figured out how to use the carbon, and in the oceans, the same process. They use that. So, but we have really screwed up the whole recycling system and cut everything. You know what I mean? We burned it at both ends here, because not only did we cut the tree, but we made sure that the soil's dead, that the tree ain't going to come back.
But Andy, I have a question. What's the, in the supermarkets when I go to buy eggs or meat, you always see the word nowadays, instead of organic, it's sustainable. So is sustainable the same thing as regenerative?
Well, see, so what's happening now is that this new group of people that are coming around to save the earth. Because when I was around, we call it sustainable. And I've been around a long time, so we call it, in the old days, we call it sustainable. But regenerative is not only a much better word, because you look at regenerative, you go, well, you can understand what you regenerate. You regenerates, right? You regenerate yourself. Where sustainable means, well, it's a little foggy for some people what sustainable means.
Yeah.
In my mind, sustainable means you are sustaining. You're not taking anything, but you're not giving anything back. So therefore, sustainability was a good step forward.
But not to go. But not to go.
But it's not going to fix what we already screwed up. It's just maintaining what we already screwed up. We got to start rebuilding. We got to start regenerating things, because it's too far to just be sustainable at this point.
To me, sustainable never really just meant sustainable. It meant what you have to do to keep it going and to survive and to do your thing, which is basically you have to regenerate. You can't just stay in one place and expect to grow. So that basically means you regenerate. So they come up with a better word to describe it. To me, it meant it's just functioning and being healthy and growing and growing and growing means regenerate. You have to regenerate bones. You have to our body, right? I don't know the saying, but it says we have a new body every so often, every few years or something. Right?
Every 7 years, every microbe in your body.
We regenerate our bodies, right? To me, it was always sustainable. That means you have to regrow, otherwise you die, right? Right. Yeah. So it's unsustainable if you can't regrow or regenerate. But
that's what fasting does too for the body. If you fast, if you have cancer, they consider fasting the best way to kill cancer.
Fasting, and also stop taking it's hard not to be exposed to toxics nowadays. It's really, really hard.
You have to be on top of it. Yeah.
No, you have to live in a bubble. You have to close everything and never leave. Are you that when you leave, you're in the space suit, a little mask on, I'm serious. I'm serious, because you can't even stick to the scientists did a study. There's no place on the earth that you can't find toxins.
Yeah.
Okay, right? No place on the earth. They went to the deepest Mariana Trench, that toxins. And there's even a name for mankind now. You probably know what it is. There's a name, there's every age.
Oh, the new age.
Yeah, so this particular.
I was going to say humans are a virus.
Well, so there's a name now, which basically means, there's this. I don't know all the ages. They basically describe, like this one that describes the dinosaur age, right? This one that describes different ages. So this particular age translates to plastic.
Yep.
Yeah.
So what we managed to get plastic everywhere on the earth. So they're saying scientists or aliens or whatever will come to Earth, and you know how they will walk on this Earth that has different layers, right? And how they would say, this is what happened then. They would see this layer of plastic that would cover the Earth, just one layer, and say, that was the age of mankind right there. That was the age of mankind. That's what we're going to leave behind to tell people we were here.
And,
right?
and it'll be this little thin line. Like you've seen anaerobic soil when you see that black line in the soil horizons. Well, ours will be this little blue line of plastic.
Is that me?
Yeah,
no,
that's you. Oh, it is. Okay. No, and I think you touched on some really, really important things, Andy, on minerals, and you've taken it like back full circle again, and saying, unfortunately, plastic, there aren't minerals in there. There aren't nutrients.
No. They found a whale full of plastic in his blubber and stuff, because animals are eating it as if it was food, and plastic holds radiation. And on top of that, that plastic does not go away. It could be millions of years, tiny little microbe.
Yep. But before the microbe is developed, before it evolves to eat the plastic. Now
I don't think the microbes can do that.
Well, there actually is.
Or radiation either.
They've been using mycorrhizae fungi now to clean up Chernobyl.
Yeah. Really, the radiation?
Yeah, because what happens is the isotope, the fungi picks up the isotope, brings it back to the plant, and the plant goes, ew, I don't want that, get rid of it. So the mycorrhizae builds a new little tunnel and sends that isotope out to the end of the tunnel. And any other isotopes they bring, they just start piling in those tunnels. So as long as you don't plow the earth, as long as you don't disturb it.
Wait, they're in the tunnel, and the tunnel doesn't radiate out?
No, it doesn't radiate out because it's a simple, it's a particulate. It's a tiny little molecule. It's when they're all together that they're a huge problem. But as in tiny little isotopes, they're not problematic. And as long as you don't dig the soil up, they're harmless. I mean, look at the animals that have come back to Chernobyl. It's beautiful. I mean, it's like it's an oasis because man doesn't go there anymore.
Right. We actually need an area on the earth that says keep out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, what we do to one part affects the other part. So it'd be one thing if you keep your trash on your side of your property, right? It doesn't work that way. It's very difficult to separate because Mother Nature has it all. We are all one.
Andy, we have like 5 minutes.
You do?
Yeah, it's 1:50. So I think we were going to tell people how to, live in a regenerative way on their property. We didn't get that. We didn't get to that, but maybe next.
Yeah, we kind of got to it. We basically
how to. Yeah.
You have to really, really concentrate on the health of the soil. Stop using chemical fertilizer. The key is to start using live compost, not the stuff you buy in the store that's dead. Find somebody that makes it. Usually it's live. When I made compost, I use as many different types of manures as possible. So that has different types of microbes in it. Different animals have different microbes to come with them. I just looked at nature. Animals did the poop all over it, so get different animals. I would get dinosaur poop if I could get it. But the idea is
I don't think so.
The idea is to pay attention and stop with the destruction already, because you're hurting yourself, you're hurting your children, and it can't be done. You can't
hurting our world.
And these arborists. I'm an arborist, and a tree has a disease. What do you do? Pesticides, more fertilizer. That's not the answer. And any problem is going on in your property, you're not dealing with the law of cause and effect. It makes money to deal with the effect because you can keep coming back over and over again. But if you deal with the cause, that solves the problem. Right.
And I love what you said about compost because, here in Southern California, everybody takes all of the material from their site, throws it in a garbage can and hauls it away. That are the very nutrients your plants need. You should not be taking anything off your property.
In San Francisco,
everything should be reused.
There's a fine if you do that in San Francisco.
Well,
yeah, they'll fine you if you don't put your compost stuff in your composting. And they make compost, which then they redistribute it again.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, what I think is everybody should make compost on their property.
Yeah.
Nothing should leave their property. No green
worms.
Your garbage is so minimal if you do that.
Right. Well, they have these huge bins down here in Oxnard where people fill them up. I see everybody put them out on Sunday and they're full. And I'm like, why aren't you grinding that up? Why aren't you using a mulch mower? Why are you taking your glass clippings away? Why are you not grinding up all of those tree branches that you pruned? Why aren't you just grinding them up, putting them right back under the bush again as a mulch?
Because you're watching too much TV, which tell you, throw that stuff away and buy this stuff.
Yeah, right? Program.
As simple as that. So it's the program.
The consumer economy. That's the problem.
So what we have to do is be very clever and tell people so we can program them a different way.
Yeah.
That's all we have to do. We have to tell them, yes, you can do it a different way. Usually what happens is if you're tired of getting your hand burned, you're going to figure out a different way of dealing with it.
Or you're going to be a sorry sort.
You know what I mean? That's what happens because people get sick. My dog died because I used some Roundup. All kinds of stuff you won't believe. I mean, I've been around a long time. For example, I know this guy. He's probably dead now. He ran a pest control company for many years. He was the manager of a pest control company for many years. And they used to test his blood for toxins. They stopped testing the blood because, the toxin went through the roof. He retired. They let him go, didn't give him any benefits whatsoever. And now he has all these problems with it. Like I say, he's probably dead with his body because of all the chemicals that his body was getting. And it's the same thing with homeowners. People have more toxins in your garage there's ever, and none of stuff has ever been in nature before, right? You don't normally find this stuff in nature, right?
Yeah.
So
I heard cilantro is a great way to rid your body of toxins. Is that true? Has anybody heard if you
I
soak-
don't know about cilantro, but I'll tell you what's really good. It's called sun chlorella.
Oh, I've heard of chlorella.
No, it's not chlorella. It's called
Oh.
sun chlorella. See,
What is that?
and we have some time. So sun chlorella was this guy, Dr. Bernard Jensen, went to Japan, and he said, okay, you guys did something to survive being having an atomic bomb dropped on you. What is it?
Yeah.
And they said, well, we eat this stuff, which is green, some kind of green algae, right? Right. So they've been eating this type of green stuff for centuries. So he said, okay, let me look at it under a microscope, Leighton, and they found that the cell walls was very hard to digest. You had to eat a lot in order to get the benefits out of it. So he developed a way to do broken cell technology that has it right here in Long Beach. It's called broken cell technology. Your body absorbs that stuff. Says, whoa. Okay, I've been doing it for about 30 years now. He has a book called The Gem of the Orient. He finds that it'll cure your cancer, it'll cure you all kinds of stuff.
And we just had a guest speaker pop in and say, I agree with Andy, and I take 20 tabs a day of sun chlorella.
My brain says my backup here says cilantro is a natural chelator.
Oh,
So it
okay.
makes minerals
Natural
available.
chelator makes
Okay.
minerals available. That's why it's so good for you. See, you have to, normally there are lots of things we would do to help the minerals into our body, including actually eating some of the soil. When an animal's actually nibbling on soil, he's telling you, I need some mineral, man. I need to get it from somewhere, right?
Red clay is an example of that, right?
We need another hour here, right?
No, we are
We
just
do,
scratching
we
the surface. Just scratching.
So we're going to be, I do a show called The Cosmic Spaceship coming up after this is on a different station. And then next week, we're going to have you on, Leighton. The show's, you show up, I don't know what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to your website. I'm going to take all those pictures and everything and make a slides thing on it. So you'll see the pictures, or maybe I could, maybe what I'll do is we'll do a live thing. We won't do a video. I have to figure out how to share more than one screen. I haven't figured it out yet. This is all new to me. It's really cool. But I could basically share what I want to do is share your website.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So you can go to your website, you can see you there and see everything you're doing. And anything you want to share, because I'm sure you have pictures, you got all kinds of stuff.
Well, to be honest with you, like I have not updated that website in forever. But what I have been doing is focusing on my educational work.
Okay.
So I have a conference that I've been doing for the last 4 years. This version this year has now gone virtual, and it's called learnlivingsoil.com. And so anybody can go there.
Is it something we can see? Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Then why don't we do that?
Yeah,
so,
learnlivingsoil.com. There's a nice website there.
What we could do is, if I don't know how to let you share, you can send me a link, and I know how to share a screen. I don't know if you can share more than one screen or not, or whatever. You know what I could do? I could share my whole screen, my whole computer screen. Then we can see you guys and what you're doing. Let's try that.
Yeah.
Have you done it before?
No, I just push this little button says share screen, and this pops up. Now,
right,
I don't,
exactly
I don't
right. It gives you choices. And so what happens is I have to give you control so that you can then show it to everybody else.
Got you.
Basically, I make you like a co-host. Get it, right? And the only thing is I don't have control because Don, the electrician, does. He's the one that started this thing. See what I'm saying? Whoever starts it has the control. So I ain't got no control. We're going to leave soon, guys, okay? I'll see you next week, man, okay? Right?
Well, for sure, buddy.
Okay,
sure.
cool. I'll see you too next week.
We'll advertise you being on the show too. I'll post.
Yeah, we'll take care of you. Good, man. We'll take care of you, okay?
Yeah.
I've been spraying your wonderful stuff. Everybody, all the trees, the plants have been sending me little
I'm
notes.
sure they love it.
We love it. Right? I can't wait to see my friend's lawn, because I sprayed the place lawn twice. And I dumped I cleared the bucket out the bottom of this stuff. I had no way I'm going to give you that back. I hosed it down. I poured it under the citrus trees, and I could tell that they went nuts with it because it's so rich and dark, and you can smell it. And that's the key. Bringing the microbes back. This is a very, very clever way of bringing the microbes back.
And a
Right?
lot more too, because it's paramagnetically charged. So it instantly bonds clay, silt, and sand
Sure.
together.
I'm glad you
into
understand what that
microaggregates.
is. I'm glad you
Yeah.
understand what
That's interesting.
paramagnetism is. We'll talk about it next show.
Yeah,
We
let's
gotta
talk.
go, because I know, wait a second. Don said we have some extra time.
Well, not that much extra time.
Whoa, he's only have
It's 1:59.
I know, but that basically means we have only, in terms of the hour, see, we had an hour, see, and he started late.
That's to our engineer, I'm sure.
Remember, he started late and he said you have extra
He did.
time.
He
So, yeah,
did.
so we have some extra time. Do you know what paramagnetism is? You know, I talked to a guy named Phil Callahan, Lathan.
Okay.
He wrote a book, Tuning into Nature. And you know, he wrote a book, they call it The Tower of Power, Towers of Power. It's in Ireland. They have these giant towers, and at the very top, they have a little door. And for centuries, people said, well, maybe it's how people got away from the Vikings, right? They would climb up the ladder, hide in there, right? No, that whole thing is paramagnetic.
Yeah.
The whole structure is paramagnetic.
Have
And-
you, do you know about the fourth phase of water?
Fourth phase of water, of course. I teach it all the time.
Right. There's paramagnetism at its best. You know, you have a
Exactly
negative
right.
water charge.
Exactly. So I do Gemini lectures. And there's a book called, it has a crystal on it it's about this guy who does electron microscopes. It shows you the message of water. I'll let you read it.
Yeah. The Japanese guy that did.
Right, so
glasses
they
to
use
crystal.
they use structured water.
Yep.
Exactly right. So when I do Gemini lectures, I teach people how to write. You can write to a water like you write to a hard drive, as long as it's structured water.
Right.
You know the guy who did the message, what he did, he wrote love on it and taped it to the glass, and that
Yeah.
changed the crystal.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's one way to write to the water. Very simple way, isn't it? Right.
Talk to the water, they said, I think.
Exactly. So they meditated around it, changed the structure of the crystal.
Mhm.
And so when I do gem elixirs, I understand that gems have a certain frequency and a certain structure. And so what I've learned to do, that's why I do my music. I learned that frequencies, waves, that the structure can be used and the waves can be combined together. So when you listen to music, you're actually getting the frequency of whatever that is. See, right?
Vibration. Yep.
Exactly right. And that goes on in nature too. I have a class called Cosmic Gardening. It teaches about what happens when the earth gets bombarded. We're constantly being bombarded with these cosmic rays shoot through the earth in and out in a nanosecond. And we have all life has evolved with this.
Yeah. Higgs boson particle travels through everything.
Exactly right. And so one of the reasons why we have trace minerals, because different minerals absorb different particles. They absorb different waves. So what are we doing? We want to eat these cosmic energies that we into our bodies. Think about that, okay? How we have evolved. It's really cool. I mean, because like I said, Phil Callahan was into it. Lots of other people. It's like the soul has ley lines, just like our body has meridians.
Amen, dude. Amen.
Isn't that
Beautiful
cool?
way to put it.
Beautiful.
Isn't
Beautiful
that
way
cool?
to put it.
So, what I'm hoping to do, and I guess we can go off now. I don't know if anybody coming on after me, because normally Don,
Your show, isn't it?
the engineer would say, we have to get off now because there's somebody coming on.
Well, he gave us like a 1 minute warning like a minute ago. So
He did? Okay. Well, then, guys, we gotta go now. See you guys next week, okay?
All right, my friend.
Nice to see you.
It's good to
Bye.
see you
Thank
too,
you.
Deb.
Thank you. Bye.
Take care.
Bye.
See you next week, Andy.
Bye.
Bye.